Hey guys, what's going on? James here, and we are covering the last batch of players that have been waived by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in an effort to get their roster down to 53 players. I will have a separate video talking about the final roster tomorrow at 7 a.m., so stay tuned for that. But the following players have been waived. This is per Greg Auman of Fox Sports. The following players have been waived. Marcus Banks, safety. Now, according to JC Allen, they do plan on bringing him back on the practice squad if he does clear waivers. Tanner Tuula was another player who was released. According again to JC Allen, they do plan to bring him back on waivers or practice squad if he does clear waivers. Keenan Isaac is another player who was released, an outside cornerback. You also have DJ Williams, who was released at running back. Finally, the last group of players, you have quarterback John Wolford, you have safety Rashad Wisdom, you have wide receiver Ryan Miller, wide receiver Cody Thompson, offensive lineman Luke Haggard, center Avery Jones, linebacker V. Jones, and linebacker Antonio Grier Jr. And that's it. That's the final releases the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have made. Let's go ahead and dive into some of these names. Firstly, let's start off with safeties Marcus Banks and Rashad Wisdom. Both guys showcased some interesting things in the final couple of preseason games, especially Marcus Banks against the Dolphins. Dude really laid out a couple of strong hits against some of the Dolphins players. It makes sense that they would want to bring him back on the practice squad. Again, we'll have an entirely separate video talking about the practice squad once that is finalized, but I think Banks is a good young developmental safety. I think very similar thoughts about Mr. Rashad Wisdom as well. Again, don't know if they're going to be able to bring him back on the practice squad. We'll see. But if so, I think that would be a very nice addition to that practice squad. Tanner Tuula is an interesting developmental tight end. Still got some good size. Was really out of the mix for that tight end 4 spot, against a guy like O'Keefe or maybe even against a guy like Devin Culp. But again, he's got some good traits that you want to see in a developmental tight end, so it makes sense why they would keep him around. Keenan Isaac is a guy who, according to Greg Auman, is likely to be back on the practice squad if he clears waivers. I imagine he probably will, but we're going to have to wait and see. He has a lot of good abilities as an outside cornerback. Had an interception in preseason week 2, almost had an interception in preseason week 3, so I think that is great. DJ Williams is an interesting back. They used him more than I thought they were going to use him, and he might have some ability as a power back somewhere down the line, maybe a short yardage running back. Maybe he has some type of future in another training camp in a preseason with the Bucs, but we're going to have to wait and see on that. Finally, there are a couple of surprises here for me. You have quarterback John Wolford. I thought the Bucs were going to potentially carry 3 quarterbacks, especially since Wolford knows the Liam Cohen offense and whatnot. I think the Bucs are very much crossing their fingers that Wolford will want to join back the practice squad, but you don't make the final 53-man roster 2 years in a row. Wouldn't surprise me if Wolford did want to go out there and see what his other options are potentially. Wide receiver Ryan Miller and wide receiver Cody Thompson. To be honest, I think one of those guys should be on the Bucs practice squad, if not, or on the Bucs 53-man roster, if not both of them. In my opinion, I think that's a bit of a mistake, letting both of those guys go, especially whenever Ryan Miller was out there, basically playing with some of the starters in the final preseason game. But you cut him. I don't know, you might be able to get him back on the practice squad. We'll have to wait and see. But me personally, I would have kept Ryan Miller. I would have kept Cody Thompson. Luke Haggard and Avery Jones, just some backup offensive linemen the Buccaneers may keep on the practice squad. Some interesting options there, I suppose. Finally, linebackers V. Jones and Antonio Grier. I mean, look, they lost the battle to J.J. Russell for that 4th linebacker spot. It is what it is. I think both are very talented linebackers, especially Antonio Grier with that final preseason game where he basically had a fumble recovery for a touchdown. He had an interception. I like Antonio Grier. He reminds me a lot, kind of the rise of Olakunle Fatukasi back in 2022. Kind of similar vibes where it's hey, this is a guy that could maybe play if some players get hurt and you need somebody to kind of hop in. I think that Antonio Grier could step up as an undrafted guy in that type of situation. And V. Jones, I think he's still solid. He's still got something to offer. Maybe he's a special teamer, maybe just in general. I think that both guys should be brought back. Look, if I had to give a guess, if it was me and I was making a practice squad for 16 players, Wolford, Ryan Miller, Cody Thompson, V. Jones, Antonio Grier, I would throw DJ Williams in there. I'd throw Keenan Isaac in there. I would throw Tanner Tula in there. Why not? Marcus Banks, Rashad Wisdom. That's 10. I need 6 more. I would probably throw in CJ Brewer for sure. I would throw in Luol Ugwak. I mean, I guess you can have Daniel Griziak in there. Why not? You could have DJ Williams in there, I guess. I don't know if I already mentioned him. I would maybe throw Tanner Canoe in there as a bit of an interesting option. Then I might have a guy like, I guess I need an offensive lineman. So, you know, I guess you can throw like Avery Jones in there or something. I need some offensive line help. But that would kind of be like, you know, a very quick practice squad out of my head. So I don't know. Who are some guys that you would want to see on the Buccaneers practice squad? Let me know your thoughts and opinions. But that's it, guys. I'm going to have a video coming out tomorrow at 7 a.m. talking about the final 53-man roster for the Bucs and giving my own thoughts and opinions on it. And it should be a lot of fun to discuss it. So, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know your thoughts and opinions about the final releases that were made down in the comments section below. I would love to hear it. And, guys, as always, I'll see you all in the next video or the next live stream. But until then, and as always, guys, goodbye for now. And go Bucs.